What's up, guys? This is Imperial99 here with another video. One of my most anticipated videos I was going to release will be my PS3 collection video. And with that said, let's get it started. So first up, it's Assassin's Creed 2. Very good game. Definitely one of the best from 2009. Next up we have Batman Arkham Asylum. Another very good game, definitely another one of those better games in 2009, and definitely one of the best superhero games that I've played ever. Next up we have Battlefield Bad Company 2. The best online shooter to date, in my opinion, is Battlefield. It's better than Call of Duty, and it's better than MAG, obviously, but it's a great game, great graphics, and great gameplay online. Next up we have Bayonetta, another very good. This is a first-person action game, very one-player action game, very good. Colorful graphics and just a cool, little story and touch from the makers of Devil May Cry. Very good. All right, then we have a sequel to my game of the year in 2007. That was BioShock. It's BioShock 2, just a tremendously good game, in my opinion, better than BioShock 1 in every way, and very glad to have it. And obviously, as everybody pretty much knows, if you don't have this game, it's one of those must-have games. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I got the Hardened Edition. I used to have, actually no, I just still have the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Xbox 360. And this is such a great game. Unfortunately, the community has gone to shit, and we have people that use these Model 1887s, and that's why the game will never be good again. But for the time being, I played about 100 hours of this game online, and it was great. Next up, Dante's Inferno. Obviously, PS3 owners will have the Divine Edition. Very, very, very good game. But unfortunately, it suffers because it's too much like God of War, and it doesn't nail it like God of War does. But it's still a good, fun game to play. And there's some cool, mayhem you can occur in this game. That's always nice. So, Dante's Inferno. Next up, we have one of my favorites. If you've seen my top 10 video, top 10 PS3 game video, you'll know that this is up there. Demon's Souls, my favorite RPG. I've played. It's got to be like 150 hours, and I'm still hooked on it. It's amazing. Demon's Souls. Next up, we have Final Fantasy 13. Now, I would love to get into this game, but unfortunately, I have not been able to get a chance to really get into playing it. But from the first couple hours, I'm like 3 or 4 hours in, and that's nothing Final Fantasy. I mean, I've known people that are hundreds of hours into this game, and they love it. But I heard complaints it's linear, but it's still a pretty good game. Final Fantasy 13. Next up, if you're a PS3 owner, you gotta own these next two games. One being the God of War collection, and the other being obviously God of War 3. I mean, the two of these are just amazing. Obviously, God of War collection, has God of War 1 and 2, and obviously 1 is one of my favorite games ever. And now, obviously, God of War 3 was actually number 1 on my top 10 list of PS3 games. If you haven't checked it out, please do. Just a tremendous game. Very good. And the best, I hope it wins Game of the Year this year, because if it does, it truly deserves it. In my opinion, I mean, yeah, there's some amazing games coming out later this year, but nothing will be like God of War 3 to me. Nothing. Alright, so now, next up, we have Grand Theft Auto Episodes from Liberty City. Now, I originally had GTA 4, and it's a long story, but basically, it was stolen from me, so, and now, I'm meaning to go back and get it. I'll eventually go and get it. It was a great game, and Episodes from Liberty City is just as, not just as good because it doesn't have as much depth as it, but for 2 retail games on one disc for only like 30 or 40 bucks, like, you can get it, pretty cheap now, and it's just great, especially Ballad of Gay Tony with the helicopters and parachuting. It's awesome. And next up, we have another PS3 exclusive, Heavy Rain. Now, a lot of people have complaining that it's just a QuickTime event, and I'm here to assure you that it's just not just a game of QuickTime events. It's an actual pretty good, very Actually, the only complaint I have with it is that it starts off a little too slow. But once you get into the meat and the thick of things, you don't want to put the controller down. It's a great game. Heavy Rain. Now, next up we have Infamous, the best superhero game I've ever played by far. The choices, well, I guess supervillain too, of course, but the choices from good or bad, it really is awesome in this game. Can't recommend it highly enough. Infamous. Now, here's a crazy action game that hasn't really been getting the respect I think it deserves. Just Cause 2. If you're an action game fan like I am, you will love Just Cause 2. It's a whole lot of fun, and it's a great game to play. Just Cause 2, fantastic. By the way, the graphics in this game, especially in the island, is very awesome. Great sandbox game. One of my other favorites on PS3 has got to be Little Big Planet. If you own a PS3, you should definitely own this in your collection. And now Little Big Planet 2 coming out later this year. I am so excited for it. But you know, it's so good, so good. It really, the creation tools are awesome, and the online is amazing. Get this game immediately. Alright, next up we have Mag, another game. It's a great shooter, great online, but unfortunately it suffers, in my opinion. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Battlefield. It's still a pretty good game, but unfortunately I think the community is just a little too good at the game, maybe. I mean, there's players that are going to pick this game up, get into like the first couple hours play, and just get so frustrated with some of the things in this game, and then they won't play it again. And then there's others that will play it and absolutely love it. So it's really a love-hate game. I like it. I think it's good, but it could have been so much better to me. But Mag, it's a good game anyway. So Mag. And then one of my absolutely favorite games, the very first game I brought on a PS3, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. What a game this is. From graphics to story, just so impressive, and and a great conclusion to one of my favorite franchises of all time. Next up we have, I just did a review on this, dual review, so it's up there, you can go check it out, but it's Mod Nation Racers. Another spectacular game, definitely worth checking out. Awesome creation tools and online. And check out my review for it, by the way. Next up we have Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. A great fighting game, not the best. It's not like Super Street Fighter 4 or, you know, some of the other fighting games out there. It's not nearly as polished as them are, but it's still pretty good, and I like it. And you know, it's got Batman and it's got Sub-Zero. You know, can you go wrong with that? Next thing we know, I got one sports game for PS3. That will be NBA 2K10. That's a good game, but that's all I'm going to say about it because I don't really get into sports. I mean, I'm a huge sports game player, but I'm not going to talk heavily on sports games because they're the same. You know, but I am a huge fan of it. Great game. Next up, we have Ratchet & Clank Future: A Crack in Time. Definitely one of my favorite platforming games that you can get. Great action-adventure type style, and mixed with platforming. It's so good. The best Ratchet & Clank game to date is this one by far. Alright, next up, another game that I have a review up there for, and that's Red Dead Redemption. I'm not going to talk too much about it because obviously there's a review up, so check that out. But great sandbox game by Rockstar. It's not just GTA in westerns. It's really truly something you got to check out for yourself. So Red Dead Redemption. Next up, I have the collector's edition of this, and that'll be Resident Evil 5. Pretty good game. I was a little disappointed though. I think it could have been a little bit better. I prefer Resident Evil 4 over it, but it's still a pretty good game. Good action game. And next up I have Resistance: Fall of Man. Probably the best game at the launch of PS3, and still a pretty good game today. Resistance 2 trumps it in every way, but Resistance: Fall of Man, for the price I paid for it, definitely can't go wrong. Next up, Super Street Fighter 4, guys. Another good game. Best fighting game out there right now. Then we have Tekken 6. Another real good fighting game. Not as good as Super Street Fighter 4, but still pretty good. And Yoshimitsu is badass. See you in part 2, guys.